showing vulnerability was not something commonly accepted. I think now a lot more people are open to that. A lot more people publicly come out and say, look, I went through a shitty time. Let me tell you about it. And I think even, podcasts and shows like this one, I think is very important because you get people to open up and they say, look, life is not that rosy all the time. And even if it's somebody that just closed a huge round at a huge valuation, whatever, you don't know what they're going through in their personal life. So how do you get entrepreneurs to get over this? I think, admit that there's an issue and there's a problem there, obviously. By definition, the business we're all in is constant failure and constant picking your pieces up and try to go forward. That's what drives us. It's your superpower and your biggest weakness at the same time. And I think getting more people to talk to one another. So I spend a lot of my time, same with Emilio's, spend a lot of time with younger entrepreneurs or people, you learn from every conversation, both ways. So I think having that break glass in case of emergency with people around you that think like you, I think that's important.
You touched upon vulnerability, which is always like an internal battle for me. It's like, I 100% agree with you that you have to appear more human to the people around you. But at the same time, at least for your teams, you have to put on the brave face and you have to be the one that is actually saying, okay, we're going to make it happen. They are asking for this confidence.
Yeah.
Like, how do you balance this? How do you think about like this duet?
I think it's hard to say, and I have to reflect on our journey with Emilio's. I think that combination of the two of us gives them both or gives the company both. But it doesn't mean that somebody who shows vulnerability is not strong-willed or focused on what the end goal is and how do we get there. I think modern day leadership, it's very important to be authentic. And it's very important from the very beginning to figure out what are the values that you believe in as a leader. And when you look at organizational design, when you look at the classic hierarchical structures, and when you look at, how organizations have evolved through time, especially now with tech and AI, which they're dramatically having an impact. I think the leader is more of an orchestrator or more of a player coach type of person, rather than, I know the vision, I'm going to tell you what to do. There's very few Elon Musks in the world. And I don't think that...
I agree with that.
and when you look at Steve Jobs, he was unbelievably charismatic and iconic and a visionary, product visionary and whatever. Most people, excuse my French, say that he was an asshole. It doesn't mean that you have to be an asshole to be a good leader. I think it's the opposite, that he was fantastic despite the fact that he was an asshole.
Yeah. But he was so good at some things that they overcompensated.
So I think there's a lot of self-reflection that goes with entrepreneurship. And I think one of the struggles that I have with industry, as you mentioned before, is that there's too much attention on this is how the way you should behave. And, Elon Musk is a very specific individual. Mark Zuckerberg is a very specific individual. Bezos, a very specific one. I wouldn't try to be like them. Just try to be yourself and try to adjust yourself as a leader in your organization. If you do that, people will follow you and they will fall for you. So I think, again, my learnings, at least the last 12 years, is be truthful to people. When you have a shitty day, say you have a shitty day. We believe in brutally honest feedback in the company. And even if I don't say it the right way, it starts from a good place. So I think all of that, I think is very important. But be authentic. I think that's one thing that, trying to copy somebody else and be, it's good to have role models, but choose what you pick from each one of them as opposed to try to copy who they are.
Yeah.